Okay, so for the windshield, we got to start with a sketch. And in this sketch, it's just it's 3 arcs, which we really haven't used arcs much, and then a straight line. And I put all of those on before I do any dimensioning. If you start with dimensioning, you're going to end up potentially frustrated by this part. So start with a line. Hotkey for line is L. Again, don't worry about length, just stick it on there. Then grab an arc. You want a 3-point arc. And the way 3-point arcs work is you click the first end, the second end, and then the middle. So this one's not very bendy, so I just give it a little bit. This one's quite a bit more bendy, so I give it more. This one comes down here and has some bendiness to it. And so to look like that, it's a little bit lumpy. It's got no dimensions on it, and that's okay. So then the thing over here, and we haven't used these yet. If you notice that you've got these constraints in your sketch palette, the one we're interested in is tangent. And tangent means that the curves are just going to connect nicely for us. So we're going to tangent this guy to this guy, and this guy to that guy. And I've done those before I put any dimensions on here, and you can tell they're tangent because they've got the tangent symbol. So now I'm going to start dimensioning. What's the hotkey for dimensioning? D, yeah. So it's worth bouncing back over. The distance across here is 3.04. 3.04. The height of this guy is 1 inch. And again, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and that's okay. It's looking less and less like what we expected. And again, that's all right. This is 0.64. And then, let's see, I'm missing one. Oh, I'm missing the dimensions on here. This is a 6-inch radius. This is a 0.4 radius. And this is a 6 as well. And as you put those in, it's going to get the shape right. And so it's going to look funkier before it looks better. And expect that. Don't be surprised by it. This gets extruded 2.55 inches. And when you look at it, it should look like this at this point. Then you need to fill it. What's the hotkey for filleting? F. Now, pay attention. See how this all lines up black right here? If when you go to fill it, it's not one continuous curve, chances are you forgot to set your tangent constraints. Those are absolutely critical. And this gets filleted to 0.5 inches. And hit enter for that. So now I've got the windshield. But I've still got to do some more work here at the bottom. So I'm going to bounce back over here and scroll down and start taking a look at this crazy mess of dimensioning down here. How thick is this wall? Does anybody see it?
0.7, 0.07.
0.07, yeah, it's right here, and that's showing the thickness of the wall. So what I want to do is I want to modify. I want to shell. And then you see this face's body, that's what it wants to open up. So I'm going to click that to open it, and then I'm going to give it a distance, 0.07. So now it's hollowed out. That's pretty sweet. And then I come back, and now I've got to make this block. This block is a little bit tricky, and if you notice, it sticks down 0.67 inches below the rest of the windshield. That can be a hard thing to figure out unless you use a construction plane. Now, this is, again, something we haven't done yet. We're going to do an offset plane. We want to come off of here, and we want to come down. How far was that? 0.67. Now I'm down here 0.67 inches, and I'm going to sketch on my plane. So now I am sketching below the bottom of the windshield on that plane I just made. Yeah. And I want to drop in this rectangle. And all the dimensions are here. My recommendation is to just make a rectangle and then worry about dimensions. That's how I always like to work. Start with the geometry. See how it's trying to lock onto things? If you're not careful, you'll get it locked onto stuff you don't want it locked onto. So it's really important you just go from a random place to a random place with nothing lit up. So go from random to random, then dimension. If you lock onto something initially, it's not going to move around the way you want it to. So I've got that on there. Then from the back edge, it's 0.68 inches. So dimension from here to here. Hey, dimension, do your job. Okay, doesn't want to play. So what we're going to have to do is go over to Sketch. Then we want to project all of that info up onto our sketch. So project it up. Now it's included in our sketch, and we should be able to dimension from it without any trouble. There we go. That was 0.68. Then it's 2.22 to the front edge. That's pretty close. And then from the bottom edge, it's 0.29. So from here to here. And then we get the top edge is 2.26. All right, so that gets the first one. Then the radius of this fillet is 0.15. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Normally I do fillets after the fact, but in this particular case, it kind of makes some sense. So click on my sketch, and I get my fillet. Why did I get my fillet out of the sketch tools? Anybody know? Because I'm sketching. Yeah. If I'm working in a sketch, I got to use sketch tools, so I use the sketch fillet. There's also the fillet over here, but this is for solids. It won't work with a sketch. So I get my sketch fillet, and then I'm filleting this corner to 0.15, and that corner, and that corner, and that corner. So I get all my corners filleted. Then what I want to do is use the offset tool. The offset tool is awesome. You can find it down in here somewhere. It's also got a hotkey of O. And then I'm just going to drag this. And I need to see how far to go.